I was working the night shift at a 24-hour gas station on the edge of a long, deserted highway. The kind of road where headlights barely reach the next curve, and every mile feels like it stretches forever. My shift started at 11 p.m. and ran until 7 a.m. Mostly it was quiet, a few drivers stopping for gas or snacks, then back on the road. I kept the neon sign flickering, checked the pumps, cleaned the counters. That was it. But one night, around 2:03 a.m., something changed. A car rolled in, a black sedan with tinted windows. It pulled up to pump 4, the farthest from the store. I waved, expecting someone to get out. No one did. The engine was running, the lights on, but the car was empty. I frowned, maybe someone stepped inside the store for snacks. I walked out to check. The asphalt was wet from earlier rain. Mist curled around the pumps. The car door creaked, slowly, just slightly, but still, no one there. I shivered and stepped back. I had decided to ignore it and went back inside. Then the radio crackled, not the usual police or dispatch, just static at first, then a whisper. "Can you hear me?" I froze. My stomach knotted. "Hello? Who is this?" I asked. Silence. Then, "Don't move." The lights in the store flickered. I grabbed the flashlight from under the counter. I scanned the pumps outside. Nothing, just fog curling in the cold night air. Then I noticed the gas cap on the black sedan, unscrewed, swinging in the breeze. I hadn't done that. I radioed security for help, but the line was dead, just static. I thought maybe it was a prank, someone driving by messing with me, but my gut told me something else. I stepped outside slowly. The air smelled sharp, metallic, like ozone. The humming of the pumps was louder than usual, almost like it had a rhythm. And then, the whisper again, right next to my ear. "Get in." I spun around. No one. I grabbed a crowbar from behind the counter, old habit from years working night shifts, and edged toward the car. The back seat window slid down. A hand, pale, long fingers, waved me in. I froze. My heart hammered. Then the headlights flickered and the engine roared and the hand disappeared. I ran back into the store, slammed the door. The radio crackled one last time. "Why run? We're friends." I called the police on my cell. They said they'd send someone 10 minutes, maybe 15. I checked the security cameras. The black sedan was gone, but the footage, there was a figure standing in front of the pump. Tall, thin, shadowy, and wearing a uniform that looked like mine. I laughed nervously, trying to convince myself it was a trick of the lights, but then I noticed the timestamp on the footage. 2:03 a.m., exactly the moment the car arrived. I thought I was safe until the next morning. The manager called. "Hey, can you come in tonight?" The other attendant called out. I hesitated. Sure," I said. That night, I got there early, opened the door, flicked on the lights. Everything seemed normal. Then I noticed something chilling on the counter. My name tag. Not mine. Clean, polished, and on the back a note in sloppy handwriting, "You're late." I never went back. Weeks later, I drove past that stretch of highway. I saw a black sedan at the same gas station. Engine running, lights on. No driver, but I could swear I saw someone inside, wearing my uniform and waving. I worked nights as a janitor at an old office building downtown. 40 floors of empty cubicles, law firms and finance companies. During the day it was loud and busy, but at night it felt like the whole place was holding its breath. My shift ran from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Most nights were boring. I'd mop floors, empty trash, refill soap dispensers, and check the elevators. The hum of fluorescent lights and the occasional buzzing of the AC was my only company. There was one rule they made crystal clear on my first day. If you see anyone on the floors after midnight, do not approach. Call security immediately. Most nights, I didn't see anyone. Most nights, the only noises were the squeak of my mop on the tile and the distant hum of the elevators. But then came the third week. I was finishing up the 23rd floor, mopping near the elevator banks, when I heard a chair roll behind me. Slowly, just one chair rolling across the floor. I turned around. Empty office. I laughed to myself. Old floors settle, pipes expand, buildings make noises. I told myself it was nothing. The next night, things got weirder. I was walking down the 15th floor hallway, taking out the trash, when I noticed footprints on the carpet. Wet footprints. They weren't mine. They led from the men's restroom across the hall and stopped. No return trail, just vanished. I reported it to security. They said they'd check the cameras, but they never followed up. Then Thursday night happened. I was coming back from the 30th floor when the elevator doors opened on their own. I hadn't called it. The doors slid open slowly. The elevator was empty, but the mirror inside fogged like someone had been breathing in it. I froze, took a few steps back, decided I'd take the stairs for the rest of the night. By 2:14 a.m., my radio crackled. "Cleaning unit, please confirm your location." I froze. No one ever checked on me. "23rd floor," I replied. A pause. "Are you sure?" "Yes," I said. "Why?" Another pause. Longer. "Because we already have a cleaner logged on to the 23rd floor." My stomach dropped. "That's impossible. I'm the only one scheduled." Static. Then the voice came back quieter, almost a whisper. "Then who just badged into the supply room?" I looked down the hallway. The supply room door was open. The light inside flickered. I hadn't opened it. I whispered, "I'm heading to the stairs." "Don't," the radio said quickly. "Why?" "Because it's between you and the exit." Something moved inside the supply room. A shadow passed across the wall. Slow, tall. I could feel it watching me. I shut the radio off and ran down 20 floors of stairs without stopping, my heart pounding in my ears. When I burst into the lobby, security was there. 2 guards, coffee cups in hand, calm as ever. They looked at me like I was insane as I tried to explain. One of them checked the system. He said no extra badge swipes, no second cleaner. I demanded the cameras. They pulled the footage. The footage showed me cleaning the 23rd floor. Then, 10 minutes later, it showed me again, same uniform, same cart, cleaning in the opposite direction. The guards went quiet. "That's a reflection," one said weakly. "Reflections don't swipe badges. Reflections don't open doors. Reflections don't look up at the camera and smile." I quit the next morning. They didn't argue. Weeks later, I ran into one of the guards at a grocery store. He looked tired, older. He leaned in, voice low. "They reviewed weeks of footage after you left," he said. "Every night at exactly 2:14 a.m., the second cleaner appeared, always following you, always a few minutes behind, never seen entering the building, never seen leaving." I shivered. "And the night after you quit," he continued, "still there, cleaning alone, pushing an empty cart, waiting for someone to replace you." I couldn't sleep for days. Months later, I found myself walking past the building again. The lights were on. I swear I could see a shadow moving behind the 23rd floor windows. Slow, methodical, cleaning, always cleaning. And then I heard a voice on my phone, unknown number, timestamp 2:14 a.m. "Hey, you forgot a spot." I got a job as a night stalker at an old warehouse near Hollow Creek. The place had been abandoned for years before the company bought it. Broken windows, rusted metal doors, stacks of empty pallets, and a weird smell that never seemed to leave. The first few nights were boring. I stocked shelves, swept the floor, made sure nothing got stolen. Simple. But on my 4th night, something happened that I still can't explain. Around 2:15 a.m., I was walking down the far aisle when I heard the sound of a door slamming behind me. I froze. I knew I hadn't touched any doors. The warehouse was massive, but quiet. I called out, "Hello?" Nothing. I grabbed my flashlight and moved cautiously. The beam cut through the darkness, landing on rows of empty shelves. The air was cold, damp. I felt my stomach tighten. Then I heard it. A whisper. Low, raspy. "Help me." I spun around. No one, just shadows. My heart raced. I convinced myself it was just the wind, or maybe a rat. I started walking again, faster this time. Then I noticed something strange. Footprints on the dusty floor. Bare feet, small like a child's. But the warehouse had been empty for years. I followed the footprints cautiously. They led me to a corner of the building I hadn't been before. There was a metal door slightly open. I pushed it. Inside was a small office. Dust everywhere, papers scattered, chairs overturned, but what caught my attention was a diary on the desk. The pages were yellowed, covered in strange handwriting. One entry read, "They come for thee at night. I hear them whispering through the walls. They want me to stay forever." I laughed nervously. Probably just some old worker writing nonsense. Then I heard the whisper again, right behind me this time. "Stay with us." I turned. Nothing. I walked toward the door. Locked. I tried another window. Boarded. The whispering grew louder, one word at a time echoing through the warehouse. "Don't leave! Don't leave!" I ran down the aisle, trying to find an exit. The shadows seemed to move with me, always just out of reach. I tripped over a pallet and fell. My flashlight rolled, the beam landing on a figure crouched in the corner. Thin, hunched, long arms, no face, just black emptiness. It lunged at me. I scrambled to my feet, slammed into the door. Locked. I could feel it breathing behind me. Cold, wet air on my neck. Then silence. I dared to look back. The figure was gone. I didn't stop running until I burst through the front doors into the night. The warehouse sat in silence behind me. Weeks later, I got curious again, drove by the warehouse. Nothing, just darkness. Empty. Until I checked my work email. A new file. Video footage from the security cameras. I hadn't activated any cameras. The video showed me that night, running through the aisles, heart racing, footsteps echoing. Then the shadows appeared, surrounding me, crowding closer, and in the corner of the frame, my own face, watching, smiling. I worked as a night security guard at an abandoned hospital on the outskirts of town. No electricity, broken windows, graffiti on the walls, just me, my flashlight, and the echo of my own footsteps. Most nights were boring. Check the doors, make sure the windows are locked, walk the corridors, simple. But this one night, nothing was simple. It was around 1:45 a.m. when I heard it, the first whisper. Soft, almost indistinguishable. I froze. "Hello?" I called out. My voice sounded tiny in the enormous hallway. Nothing. Just a faint scraping sound, like nails on concrete. I turned on my flashlight, slowly scanning the corridor. Shadows stretched along the walls. I walked toward the sound, heart pounding. The echo of my steps was deafening. Then, at the end of the hallway, I saw a door slightly open. I didn't remember opening it. Curiosity took over fear. I stepped inside. The room was empty. Hospital beds, broken IV stands, dust everywhere. But there was something written on the wall in what looked like dried blood. "Don't leave." I laughed nervously. Some kids probably snuck in during the day. Then I heard it again, whispering, right behind me. Don't leave. I spun around. Empty room. My flashlight flickered. Then the whisper changed. You're the last one. My stomach dropped. I ran to the door, locked. I checked the windows, all boarded up. No way out. The whispering followed me down the hallway, soft at first, then louder, one word at a time. Here, with us. I ran into the main hall, heart hammering. A shadow moved along the ceiling, slow, deliberate. It wasn't a person, not human. Long limbs, head tilted sideways, crawling across the walls and ceiling. I tried the radio, dead. Phone, no signal, just me and whatever this thing was. I stumbled into the stairwell. My flashlight dropped. The beam hit the railing. A hand, cold, pale, and wet, grabbed my ankle. I screamed and kicked. It was gone. I ran upstairs, desperate. Each step felt endless. The whispers followed, repeating, mocking. Finally, I saw a window, broken glass, fresh air. I jumped, landed hard, but free. I ran into the woods, didn't look back. Weeks later, curiosity got me. I drove past the hospital. Lights off, windows boarded. I checked online, nothing, no record of me working there. The scariest part, my ID badge from that night sitting on my desk at home. Blood on it, fresh. And sometimes, late at night when my apartment is dark and quiet, I hear it again, a whisper from the shadows. You're the last one. I used to take road trips alone on the weekends. Nothing fancy, just me, my car, and some playlists to pass the time. One Friday night, I decided to take a new route through Blackwood Road, a narrow, winding path through dense forest. Everyone in town said it was abandoned, old logging road, barely paved, with a few cabins scattered along the way. It was around 11:30 p.m. when I noticed one cabin with lights on. Strange, most of the cabins were boarded up. I slowed down. The glow from inside looked warm, inviting even. My curiosity got the better of me. I parked and stepped out. The wind was cold, whispering through the trees. As I approached, I noticed something odd. The door was slightly open, but no smoke from a chimney, no signs of life. I knocked, no answer. Then the door creaked, fully open. I froze. Something felt off, but I was already too close. I stepped inside. The cabin was small, rustic, a fireplace, some old furniture, dust everywhere. But someone had recently been here. A chair was slightly pulled out. Footsteps? Maybe. I moved deeper. The air smelled damp. I saw an envelope on a table, no name, just a note. Stay. Don't leave until you hear it. My heart skipped. I wanted to leave, but the forest outside felt wrong. Silent, too silent. I sat in the chair. Minutes passed. Nothing. Then a soft hum, low, almost inaudible, coming from the fireplace. I leaned closer. The hum turned into a whisper. I see you. I spun around. Empty room. The door slammed shut. I ran to it. Locked. Windows locked. The cabin had no other exits. I was trapped. Then the whisper came again from everywhere. You shouldn't have come. The chair I was sitting on moved, slowly toward me. I stumbled back. My flashlight hit a wall. Words written in black. Leave or stay forever. I panicked, trying every window, every corner. Nothing budged. Then I saw it. A shadow. Thin. Tall. Moving on its own. It was coming toward me, sliding across the floor. I grabbed an old hatchet from the corner. My hands were shaking. The shadow stopped. I swear it looked like a person, but no face. Just darkness where the face should be. I yelled, swung the hatchet, hit air.
hit nothing. Then I heard laughter, high-pitched, echoing around me from inside the walls. I ran to the fireplace, looked inside. Nothing, just blackness. But from the blackness, something crawled out, thin fingers, pale and cold. I screamed. I don't know how long I ran in that cabin, tripping over chairs, smashing windows. Nothing worked. Then silence. I collapsed on the floor, heart racing. And that's when I noticed it. A mirror hanging crooked on the wall. My reflection? Or was it? It wasn't me. It was wearing my clothes, sitting in the chair, smiling. I backed away. The reflection raised a hand, waved. Next time, don't stop. I don't drive that road anymore, and sometimes, late at night, I see that cabin, lights glowing. And I swear